Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. Today we have a box from Awaken Realms that I had actually completely forgotten about. But good thing they sent it to me anyways, because that would have been tragic. So inside this box I have another box and a whole lot of, what are these, 40s or 50s? These look like 40mm bases. I had to think about that for a sec. So I got a whole bunch of 40mm bases in there, and what are they for? They are for the mounted heroes for Lords of Hellas, whatever you want to call it. So these were all resin models that were originally, I think, available in the Pledge Manager for Lords of Hellas. So I'm not sure who is who, but we're going to try to put everybody together, and I'm going to be smart and not go tearing all the bags open yet. Or at least we'll just do them one at a time. Bases out of the way. Let's take a good look at each of these models. There's nothing there. Now there is. Okay. So here we have some type of mechanical Griffon, it looks like. Biomechanical, perhaps? Parts of it look to be organic, parts of it look to be cybernetic. And at no point do I see a... yeah, there we go. It's a dude with a hammer. That looks like a big chunk of flash on it. And I'm assuming these are his legs? A leg? No, that's a claw. Where are your legs, dude? Ah, they're already on the body. Okay, fair enough. So that's our first rider. And we are going to put all these together, so if you're curious, I noticed that Awaken Realms has already posted a set of build instructions. We've got some kind of an elk with some nice pretty horns. I have never had an issue with Awaken Realms resin. They've done a couple of runs for earlier Kickstarters of theirs, and I've gotten to play around with some of them, and I've never had any issues whatsoever. So if you're worried about that, don't be. So this is one of our female heroes. I honestly am not sure which character is which. So we're 2 down. Let's see what our third one is. All I know is Hercules was like on a goat. Or a ram or something like that. And he was a big dude anyway, so. Alright, is this him? No, this is a cow. We have a cow. A robo cow. And that is one of the other female heroes, and that is a steer leg. Fair bit of casting gates still attached, so hopefully we can get all those put together easily. Oh, this is a big one. Okay. What is this? Is this the Pegasus? I think Perseus was on the Pegasus. That would make the most sense. Helps when the horse is in focus. So pretty simple construction. Helps when the wings are right side up. And a whole lot of work there. And somebody with a sword. Are you Perseus? Possibly. I think those are the front legs. They are tiny front legs. Alright. Moving along. What is it? That's 4 we've seen so far. I'm going to have my work cut out for me with these. And I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to paint this stuff. Okay. This looks like a seahorse. So I'm guessing this was from one of the expansions, which I don't have. So I have absolutely no idea. I'm going to have to go check the Kickstarter website. I'm going to go take a look at that after I start building these so that later in this video I know what in the world I'm talking about. But that's definitely interesting. You don't see aquatic creatures as heroic monsters very often, outside of like the Edeneth, I guess, for Warhammer. Here we go with another baggie. You like looking at my thumbs opening bags? I do. Alright, this looks like our boar. I bet that's Hercules. Hercules. It is Hercules. And he's not in New York anymore. Pig's kind of cool. Got a lot of cybernetic parts to it. Again, casting quality is really nice. Obviously, we're going to have to do some cutting and trimming, but it's not like Awaken Realms didn't advertise the fact that this was going to be more of a traditional wargamer, modeler, hobbyist type release. So I'm pleased with that. That is Leonidas, and I know it's Leonidas because I remember he had a wolf. Why I remember that, I have absolutely no idea. He's got only one of his swords, though. That was one of the nice things about the actual Kickstarter figure. And other leg there. I don't think this is going to be able to fit in much else in terms of tabletop games. These figures were a lot more closer to true 25mm scale, so there's not a whole lot, I think, outside of Lords of Hellas itself that you're going to really be able to use them with, but, you know, it is a cool game, so something to keep in mind. I guess these would be kind of nice models to have for when heroes have upgraded. This is our ram. Maybe was this Leonidas? No, Leonidas definitely had the sword, I think. I don't know what I'm talking about. A ram model. He's going to be fun to paint. Lots of metallic paints will be involved here. And they're pretty simple construction. Honestly, I'd seen the build instruction website, and I remember looking at it thinking, well, there's a lot of steps, but really they don't look that bad. I'm thinking I might just give them a spray. I think I have some of the old Army Painter gunmetal primer in a can, rattle can type stuff, so we might put that to use. We have our Robo Horse. And I have not played this game in a while, and I do not remember who is who. So, that's shame on me. But like I said, as I finish up this video, we will take a look at who is who. So, quite a variety in terms of animals, in terms of mounts, in terms of characters. You got a lot to work with. Horses, seahorses, Pegasi. Sadly, other than our seahorse, we do not have much in the way of reptiles. And being as big a proponent of reptiles as I am, that was a little disappointing. At least we got the wolves. So, it's time for me to start putting these together. And I hate to say it, but Leonidas, you probably... It has to be, dude. He's got like his swords and everything there. See? Like 4 swords on his back. Why can't he be posed like that? Maybe they should go back and make actual, like, gaming-sized models of some of these hero figures. Alright, I'm going to stop rambling, and we are going to get these built. We're going to start off here with Hercules. Hercules. Now, I didn't actually have to go to Awaken Realms' website other than to figure out who was who, because I couldn't remember which character was which, because we have not played the game in some time. But you can see here, pretty nice once he's all been put together. I thought everything was quite intuitive in terms of how it all went together. So, and again, what do I know, right? I believe this is Odysseus. Yeah, it's Odysseus on the ram here. Some of these had very, very small contact points, and I couldn't tell if this was actually supposed to stay or not. I just went ahead and glued it. I figure, maybe not. We can try removing it and just put some debris and rubble for the goat to step all over, I guess. Let's see. Up next, Plato. I like Plato's model. I don't own Atlantis, and I'm pretty sure that's what she was in. I haven't opened up the stretch goal box either, but that's a whole different story. So you can see here, pretty nice. You don't see seahorses as heroic mounts very often. Hector with his hammer and his safety harness attached to the Griffon's belly. I thought Hector would have been a little bit larger, but this looks kind of silly on the back of that Griffon. He needs a bigger Griffon. It looks like he's getting a piggyback ride rather than riding on a majestic mount. Alright, I want to say this was Cassandra? Pretty sure it's Cassandra with the Robo Bull. I like her VR goggles. And her tablet in her hand. Pretty clean casts. Everything went together easy. I mean, really, if you've built a couple models before, resin or not, it was pretty intuitive. Don't get all frightened by the fact that you have to build this stuff. Who is this? Ajax? No, Achilles. Achilles. I don't think there is an Ajax. I'm confusing this, and I've been messing with mythic battles lately, so. Very cool looking clockwork horse. Remember that these models actually have no gameplay usage. They're just cool looking things. Helena, however you want to say it. I wasn't sure exactly how her staff is supposed to go in, but it seemed like there was a little notch there, so I just kind of shoved it in, and hey, what do you know, it worked out pretty well. You can also see here her hooves on her stag are barely touching the base, but that's not anything that we can't fix with a little bit of glue and debris. Next up, Perseus, the one who should be on a mount. I didn't actually glue this just to make things a little bit easier to get at all of the main parts there. But it's kind of funny. I mean, he looks, you know, appropriately sized for his horsey compared to Hector, who I still feel is just kind of dwarfed by it. And then probably my second favorite, or maybe first favorite, I like Hercules a lot. This is Leonidas. And at first I thought these were air bubbles, and then I realized, no, those are the holes in his sword, and that's just a mess I made, cutting off all the big chunks of resin. First I was afraid that the wolf was a little too, it leans a little too far forward, but the fact that I got this other foot and his hind legs onto the base itself, it seems to be okay. Bearing in mind that all of these models are actually meant for the game itself. They're not really meant to go in any other kind of system. They're specifically made for Lords of Hellas. And with that said, because they're going to end up quite small in comparison, they're at a really weird size. They're not 10 millimeter, 15 millimeter, but they're not anywhere close to 25 millimeter either. I mean, if you get like a marine model up in here, I mean, you know, he just dwarfs Cassandra there. And it was a shame too, when I originally saw this stuff, I was really hoping they were going to be full size, really big figures, because, you know, big giant Leonidas on a wolf would have been really cool. And in fact, I kind of hope and would really like Awaken Realms to reconsider maybe blowing up and enlarging some of these to true, you know, 32 millimeter size and selling them individually, because I think some of these models, especially if they just redefine a little bit of the details and the sharpness, would look really nice at full-size tabletop gaming scale. I really, really feel that way, especially like some of the ones like Hector, maybe Hercules, maybe Leonidas. I think they would look really, really cool at a true, not true size, because these are the true size, at a typical tabletop wargaming scale. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. It just, to me, the biggest frustration is, and it was a frustration I had with the actual game itself, was the size of the models. I think if they'd been actual 15 millimeter, that would have been really cool. You would have had something similar to, what's it called? Not Mythic Battles. Joan of Arc. I've got too many Mythic games on mine. So, interesting scale, interesting models, and I really do like the fact we have a seahorse as a hero mount. That is not something that we see very often. So, kudos to them, and Awaken Realms continues to make interesting models, and I do like the fact that they're not giving up on the resin collectors market, because we still pay attention every now and then. Hopefully we'll be seeing more from their other fields resin line as well. So hopefully, if you haven't seen these models yet and you're interested, I know they are out there in the wild, and do not fret if you've never built the resin stuff. It's really not that big a deal. They really weren't that hard to build. And, you know, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer anything, and hopefully you guys have found this helpful. With that said, this is High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, and I will be seeing you all later. Bye-bye.